What's up? Thank you for your help. Appreciate it. Thank you for, no, I need you doing exactly what you're doing. You're the welcoming committee. Okay, that looks like it's on. I need to turn down the volume or else everyone's going to hear an echo. Shabbat Shalom, welcome everyone. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for braving the cold to be here on this Shabbat. Because it was a little cold outside, we thought we would warm up a little bit before we begin services. So we're going to start with an oldie but a goodie. The Hebrew is not too difficult. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Sinai. We're so glad that everyone could be here. It's nice to be together in our beautiful sanctuary. It's also nice to have everyone joining us in our Zoom room, and we have a few more people coming in. And those who are joining us on the live stream on the website and on Facebook, we are so glad that all of you could make it here to be with us as we welcome this Shabbat. No matter how you found your way here, we're glad that you are joining with us. We continue on page 128 in our prayer books. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and how pleasant it is When we all come together, dwell together, and welcome Shabbat all together. This is the first Friday of the month of February, which means in just a little bit, we are going to celebrate our February anniversaries and birthdays. But celebrating their first anniversary this month, we want to invite Rachel and Silas to come join us for the lighting of our Shabbat candles, which can be found on page 120 and 121.
Hello, Tulsa Rabbi Sherman.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
We continue on page 123. We join together in Kiddush, the sanctification of the Sabbath day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riah gafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. B'Shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh boreshit ki hu yom zechila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta Yotzanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchaltzanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We turn now in our prayer books to page 126. I'm going to go ahead and put the words up on the screen as well so that those who are following along at home can join in. Page 126. Let's try that. And we can even make it. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. Let's join together. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Bottom of page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for the Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope together in English, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We turn now to page 138 in our prayer book. There we find the words of Lecha Dodi as we join together in welcoming this Sabbath day. We turn now in our prayer books to page 146. There we find the words of our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, and we rise all together. Continue on page 148. Again, I'll put the words up on the screen. Our prayer for creation, Ma'ariv Aravim in the Hebrew on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו, לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 150. Together in the English, everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We join together now in the watchword of the people of Israel. Page 152, page 153, we join in the Shema. Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך בכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. On page 155, there we find a translation of the words that we just chanted. I'll put it up on the screen for us as well. Let's join together in the English there on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gates. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. We turn to page 158. There we find the words of our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, the song we sang to give thanks and praise to God, having crossed the Red Sea, leaving Egypt in slavery behind forever. Page 160, there we find the words of our Hashkivenu prayer. We ask God to keep an eye on us as we go to sleep this evening and to raise us up tomorrow renewed unto life. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. On the bottom of page 161, we continue in the English together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us the shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. On page 162. Vishamru speaks of our covenant of Shabbat. Now it is up to us, the people of Israel, to keep Shabbat, and that every time we do that, it is a sign, a symbol of our covenant, the covenant between God and the people of Israel. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים, את הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפל. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת דורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. We turn now to the Amidah, which begins on page 164, and we rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אהבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו יהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל יבורות, ומיתו מלך ממיד ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. We continue at the very bottom of page 173. If you look at the small print at the bottom of the page, there's a quote from Abraham Joshua Heschel. It says, the meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. And on page 175, the top of the page in the Hebrew, we find Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'Amacha Yisrael, as we ask God to lovingly accept our prayers. We continue at the bottom of page 177. In the middle of the page, let's read together in the English. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, v'lechana el lehodot. On page 179, our prayer for peace. Again, let's join together in the English. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. We take a few moments now for our own silent prayers. We turn now in our prayer books to page 371. There we find our prayers for healing. As we gather together this Shabbat, as we say goodbye to this week now ending, we give thanks to God for all the blessings in our life. We think now especially of the blessing of health. We think of all of those in our families, friends, and neighbors, folks throughout our community who could use some healing and wholeness in their lives. This Shabbat prayers of our congregation, God, especially on behalf of Doward Bronson, Howard Robinson, Gig St. Romain, Ann Friedman, Joel Webb. We think of all of those who could use healing in their lives. We ask God to send a refuah shlema mehera, a complete and speedy recovery, refuat nefesh, refuat guf, a renewal of body, soul, and mind. As we join now together in our prayer for healing, the Misha Beirach there in the middle of page 371. Misha Beirach Avotenu Nikor Bracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Mekor Bracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And now, as we said, this is the first Shabbat here in the month of February. We come into this sanctuary, we come to services for lots of reasons. We come tonight to celebrate some happy occasions. So we want to celebrate with all of those who are celebrating a wedding anniversary this month. And if you happen to be here in the sanctuary, I'm going to invite you to please rise as I see some first anniversaries as well as a 35th anniversary. And for those at home too, I invite you to rise if you would like to. All of those who are celebrating anniversaries in February, we say, Misha Beirach Avotenu v'Imotzenu, Avraham v'Sarah, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Leah v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless all those couples celebrating their wedding anniversaries this month. God of all generations, we give thanks for the many blessings that have graced their lives and marriage over the years. May they look back upon the day of their union, even if it was only 1 year ago, with thankfulness. May this joy be with them always, their way of life loving and good, as they continue to help each other to bear life's burdens, as well as share in life's joys. In joys and trials alike, O God, you have been with them. So may you continue to be with them, guiding and sustaining them in the years to come. Grant them, O God, a peaceful dwelling where contentment and love find a resting place. May they maintain a home in which glows the light of faith, one that honors our membership in the house of Israel, our people. O God, grant that they may grow old together in health and love, and live in gratitude for their marriage always. As together we say, Amen and Mazel Tov. And now I want to invite all of those, you may be seated, and those who are celebrating a birthday in the month of February. If you're here in the sanctuary, like my friend Marion, I invite you to rise. And if you're at home too, I invite you to rise as well. As we say, Misha Beirach Avotenu v'Imotzenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who are celebrating birthdays in the month of February. God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. As we come together at Temple of Shabbat, we gather in thankfulness to share in the happiness of our friends and family members who are turning 1 year older this month. Be with them always as the joy of their life. May they be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May they be blessed with many more years, ad mea ve'esrim. May their lives be filled with an abundance of blessing. Baruch atah Adonai mevarech hashanim. We praise you, O God, who blesses the years. We join together in the Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and who has brought us to this very special time. And we say Mazel Tov and happy birthday. Our Torah portion for this week is Parashat Terumah. In this week's Torah portion, we have our transition. We've been focused on leaving Egypt behind. After all, we're here in the book of Exodus. We've made it to Mount Sinai. For the last 2 weeks, we received God's commandments, the 10 commandments there on Mount Sinai, and now last week, long list of mishpatim, of rules to live by. This week, we turn our attention to the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And as we look up at our bima, it's still today, the ark that we see, the menorah, the ner tamid, a covering over the ark, all of these and more find their roots in this week's Torah portion. God says to Moses, instructs them, V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Tell the people to make me a sanctuary, a holy place, that I may dwell among them. So what does this really mean for us? Is it possible that God was telling the people that without a sanctuary or a building or a house, a place for the Ark of the Covenant, for the altars of the sacrifice, that without all of that, they would be unable to feel God's presence? Are sanctuaries necessary for worship, for finding God? Which is especially a good question when half of us are on Zoom or on the live stream this evening. Does God require a building in order to dwell among human beings? Jewish tradition, of course, teaches us that we experience God in lots of different ways. God is to be found in the beauty and mystery of nature, in the love and friendship we share with others, in the spiritual impact of a ritual or celebration, celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, for instance, and in the work done to promote justice, generosity, and peace. There is no exclusive place or home for God. There are many places where God dwells. King Solomon, who built the first holy temple in Jerusalem, he admitted that God, who cannot be contained by all of the heavens, could certainly not be limited to this house that I have built. If that is so, if no mikdash, if no sanctuary can be the exclusive place of God, then what can the Torah mean when it reports that God said to Moses, make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them? What is the purpose or the function of the sanctuary in Jewish tradition? I want to share with you some of the answers that Rabbi Fields writes. It says, the early rabbis offer an answer through an imaginary conversation between God and the people of Israel. They picture the people explaining to God that all human rulers have beautiful palaces, rooms where offerings are brought to them and where the people can demonstrate their loyalty and their love. The people say to God, shouldn't you, our ruler, have such a place, such a palace? And according to the rabbis, God responds, my children, I have no need for such a place. After all, I do not eat or drink. Obviously, however, you have a need for such a place. It will help you to experience me. For that reason, build a sanctuary, and I will dwell in your midst. What the early rabbis sensed was our human need for a place of worship, a special place set aside for meditation and prayer. It is the nature of human beings to uplift the importance of ordinary buildings by assigning them unique functions and names. Out of bricks and mortar, steel and poured concrete, we create and decorate structures which we call capitals or museums or concert halls or theaters and courts. Sometimes we add to their importance by linking to them the names of popular personalities or even donors. But like capitals, museums, or concert halls, religious sanctuaries serve a significant function. They are the unique spaces for our meeting God through prayer, through study, through sharing our lives with others. Does that mean that they are the only places where God dwells? Of course not. Just as we enjoy music and art in a variety of places outside of concert halls and museums, we can pray and encounter God in many different places as well. We create religious sanctuaries, however, out of our need for beautiful and inspiring environments where we can find moments for reflection, comforts, and hope in difficult times, direction and wisdom when we have moral choices to make, and beautiful rituals with which to celebrate the most important moments of our lives. Our sanctuaries provide us with spaces where we can share with others and sense the support and enthusiasm of our community. As the early rabbis taught, our sanctuaries answer our human and spiritual needs. The commentator Umberto Cassuto sees another purpose in the creation of the sanctuary. He points out that the people of Israel experienced God in such a powerful way at Mount Sinai. They heard the 10 commandments, they saw the mountain shaking, and they felt themselves connected to God in a unique covenant. But once they set out from the mountain, says Cassuto, it seemed to them as though the link had been broken, unless there was in their midst a tangible symbol of God's presence among them. In other words, the Mishkan, the sanctuary, was a tangible, visible assurance of the bond that God had forged with the people of Israel there at Mount Sinai. While they would journey to distant places from that wonderful mountain where God addressed them, their sanctuaries with their arks, menorahs, and eternal lights would be a constant reminder that God dwelled among them. Every synagogue, every sanctuary is an extension of Mount Sinai, which is so true for us here in our Sinai sanctuary. Rabbi Morris Adler, in his own discussion of the sanctuary, he says it's more than just a symbol. Rabbi Adler emphasizes its important functions. He identifies 4 tasks which applied to the ancient Mishkan and which still apply today for the modern synagogue. It says the first is to conserve or to guard against oblivion the great insights and concepts that have been developed by human beings through the ages. Rabbi Adler points out that the new generations often destroy their past, and it is the role of religion to preserve the accumulation of insights, as he writes, of human wisdom. Our religious sanctuaries proclaim, do not destroy the ancient landmarks. The second task of the sanctuary is to scrutinize, to criticize, and to evaluate. Religious sanctuaries, Adler argues, must constantly present an ethical code that does not surrender to expediency, that does not give way to hysteria, that sees the problems of our time from the perspective of a great background of experience and faith. The third function of the sanctuary is to enlarge the lives of people. Religion seeks to tell people Do not starve yourselves by limiting yourself only to the struggle for a livelihood. Do not become the prisoner of your own ego. And finally, Rabbi Adler writes that the Jewish sanctuary seeks to remind the Jewish community that what keeps Jews together is not a common sorrow. It's not charity, not defense, but rather common history, common culture, and common hope. And I think that this is especially true and important today. It is here that we find that sense of common history, common culture, common hope. It's here where we come together and we fight against the rise of anti-Semitism, which we've seen way too often in recent days at Congregation Beth Israel in Colleyville. As we read of the banishing of the book Mouse in Tennessee, as we see the Nazi and white nationalist rallies, for instance, in Orlando, the swastikas and anti-Jewish symbols and accusations posted in places like Union Station in Washington, D.C. As we hear questions as to who the Jewish people really are on TV talk shows. As we read of the mistreatment and misrepresentation and verbal attacks that continue on the state of Israel. It is to our sanctuaries, whether in person or online, that we look. It's here that we find that common hope for the future. And it is up to us to support, to protect, to maintain our sanctuaries, so that they will always be there for us. Throughout the ages, the Mishkan, the sanctuary, has functioned as a Beit Tfilah, a house of prayer, a Beit Midrash, a house of study, a Beit Knesset, a house of meeting. It has been the sacred space where Jews have worshiped and celebrated together, educated themselves and new generations, and met to face new challenges, as we continue to do now. It is the meeting place between God and the Jewish people. Today, the synagogue, like the ancient Mikdash, remains the most significant institution of Jewish life. It is the guarantor of Jewish tradition and survival. And we pray that it will remain strong and vibrant here in our own community and amongst our people everywhere for many more generations still to come. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We turn in our prayer books now to page 586. There we find our concluding prayers, and we rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tzik gdula le'otzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzon, ve'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'goraleinu kechol amonam, v'anachnu קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. We continue on page 589. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. Page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We think of our loved ones now whom death has recently taken from us, as we mourn the loss of Dr. Miles Herbert Friedlander. We are in Shloshim for Ann Gibson, Marie Louise M.L. Levy Stoyer, and Peggy Rabinowitz Jacobs. We think of those who died of this season in years past, those whom we've taken into our hearts with our own, as we lovingly recall the art site and noun of Jack Alden, Frank Mayer Bestoff, Ruby Shane Blumenthal, Moise S. Kahn, Norma Goad, Irving Goldstein, Moish Haddad, Gabe Hausman, Babette Babs Isaacson, J. Morton Jalinek, Charlotte MacArthur Kornman, Joseph Oliver LaPrairie, Charles H. Levy, Gertrude Shirk Levy, Lloyd Max Lowy, Rose Newman Mopsick, Hannah Lowy Newman, John H. Norman, Emily Hart Rosen, Julia A. Sasso, Hannah Betty Prince Blumenthal Stitch, William Carlton Taylor, Helen Urbeck, Arthur Weiss, Eva Simon Welsh, Jules Wolbritz. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be an everlasting blessing. So we rise now as one community to recite the words of Kaddish Yatom, which can be found on page 598. Together, Yitzgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'almad zivrach yerutzeh, v'yamlich malchutzeh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'yizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam ulamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu le'ela min kol v'chatza v'shirata tush b'chatza v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure now to call on Josh Danzig, representing our officers and Board of Directors, Board of Trustees, for a few words of welcome and announcements.
Welcome, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Coming up at Temple Sinai, we have virtual Torah study tomorrow morning beginning at 9:15 a.m., followed by our Shabbat morning service, which will begin at 10:30 a.m. Both can be accessed online via Zoom and will be streaming live on our Facebook page and website. This Sunday, we'll be hosting a headdress and fascinator workshop at noon here at Temple. Perfect for Mardi Gras Purim and our garden party gala this year, which is coming up in April, save the date. With only a few slots left, make sure to check out the RSVP in this week's email blast. Our Temple Sinai Sisterhood is proud to announce that this year we will see the return of their attic sale, annual attic sale. It's going to be taking place June 12th and 13th. And you can start bringing items. Drop-off time is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Though make sure to check this week's email blast to see what items the Sisterhood is currently accepting. The Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience is hosting a special Night at the Museum event this Wednesday for all of our 6th through 8th graders. If your child or grandchild would like to attend, make sure to RSVP at the Juicy website, juicy.com. And in honor of Jewish Disability Awareness Month, Temple Sinai is proud to partner with the ISJL to present Being Heard, a special show with local artist and activist Nick May. This will be hosted over Zoom this coming Thursday, the 10th at 7 p.m. Thank you very much.
We are proud to partner with the Institute for Southern Jewish Living and our friend Ann Keens, who's very active and has brought to our attention a lot of wonderful programs. On Wednesday evening, we'll continue our Wednesday Night Live adult education classes. We are looking at what Jews believe. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to discuss modern issues and modern beliefs. Join us online, 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. I bring regards from Cantor Coleman. His sabbatical continues through the month of February. He's doing well, enjoying some time away and visiting some of our smaller and forgotten Jewish communities throughout the South. And we look forward to hearing about his adventures and travels when he returns. We are going to conclude our service. A special thank you to Marcus St. Julian. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Rachel, for all of your help. A special thank you to my camera woman over here for your help this evening during services. Josh, it's nice to have you with us. We're going to conclude with our prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. I invite you, please, to rise and let's join together. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello, Marcus. Shabbat shalom, everybody. See you in the morning.
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Stay warm.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Exactly. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I want to say Shabbat shalom to everyone online as well. Let me turn up some volume. Shabbat shalom, Janice and Mike. I see you there. Shabbat shalom, Mark. Shabbat shalom, Kurt. I see you. Elizabeth.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
John, I see you. I don't see Doris, but I'm going to say Shabbat shalom to Doris as well. Shabbat shalom, Terry and Mary. Hope you guys are well.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom, Mom and Dad. Hope the snow's not
Shabbat
too
shalom.
bad up north in Oklahoma. Shabbat shalom, Verdi. Verdi, anyone in your family have a birthday this month?
Yes, but he's hiding.
I say, well, please wish him a happy birthday. Howdy, Shabbat shalom. Nice to see you. Do you have a birthday as well?
Yes.
Maybe Sharon. Shabbat shalom. It's good to see you. Nancy, Ruth, Carlos, I think you're there. Shabbat shalom,
Yes.
everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos to you.
Thank you. Good
Bye,
job.
Liz.
Bye.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.